And welcome back to Cottage Talk. I am Russ Goldman. This is Cottage Talk full time. Fulham come from behind to beat Newcastle United. The match ended a little over 3 hours ago, but I wanted to do a show and share my initial reaction to this massive Fulham victory at St. James's Park. It hasn't happened in a long time. So for Fulham to get the victory, I definitely wanted to talk about it today. I will have a post-match show on Sunday, but I wanted to go live for about 15 minutes to share my thoughts on this victory and what I think it means and why I think Fulham won this match. So before I go to my initial reaction, I just want to mention this that I actually did a preview episode, my 3 keys to victory, which actually is exclusive on the Cottage Talk Patreon page. And if you're interested in more content from Cottage Talk, please do check out the Cottage Talk Patreon page because I give you several shows on that each and every week. Certainly give you a player rating show. I will have my takeaways, which I'll be recording on Sunday, along with a post-match show, which is open to everyone, but I do have a lot of content, so I do hope you check it out. But why I wanted to start with talking about my 3 keys to victory is that in this episode, I made a prediction, and my prediction was 3-1 to Fulham. I actually predicted a Fulham victory. I didn't get the score right, but I thought going into this match, and I actually went on the Loaded Mag show that's all about Newcastle United, and they asked me my prediction and my thoughts on the match, and I felt very confident going into this match. And I'm thinking, why would I feel confident coming off of the losses to West Ham and Manchester United? Well, I thought that playing against this team on the road suited Fulham because I thought it would be a team that would try to take it to Fulham, which Newcastle United did, but I thought Fulham would have the answers to go forward and they would open up opportunities to beat this team. And that's kind of what we saw. In fact, I thought Fulham controlled more of the play than I thought they would. But I had a good feeling going into this as to go to St. James's Park and win after losing the last 2 matches. But that's who they are. They're up and down. But the one thing that I will mention, and I'll go to my initial reaction, is this. Is it crazy to think that maybe Fulham can really just turn it up a gear and find a way to win going down a goal? In some certain situations, are they, wouldn't say better, but suited to play from behind? We've now seen this in 3 victories that Fulham have had, 3 huge victories. You saw it against Brentford, obviously left that extremely late. You saw it against Chelsea. Now you've seen it against Newcastle United. And what I think is a common denominator is urgency and resilience. And that's what we saw here in this match. It's a tale of 2 halves, and I'll talk about that coming up. And if you're watching live and you have some thoughts on it, please feel free to share them with me. But what I got out of this is that Fulham have played from behind. Not that often, but when they have, like I said, in these 3 matches that they've got victories from, there have been positive results. And I think that there's something to that. They have played so many matches from ahead, front runners. And I thought, well, that's who they are. Well, maybe that's not exactly who they are because now they're showing the ability to come from behind. And I think that's a good sign of a good team that can do that. Now, if they can just be more consistent. But what's interesting about this match, and I'm going to ask the question because it is part of my initial reaction. Was this a tale of 2 halves? I keep seeing this on social media. And yes, I can buy it. I can totally buy it because Fulham were toothless in the first half. But here's the interesting part of this. Fulham dictated the play in the first half. They were controlling, I thought, a decent amount of the play. Now, they just had no cutting edge. They were getting themselves in good positions. And unfortunately, Newcastle United were taking advantage of some really good opportunities they had. And they scored on one of them. But I thought to myself when I'm watching that first half that there was a building block for the second half. That's where I'm going on this. It is a tale of 2 halves, but maybe not what you think. Because I think the first half gave them the foundation for what we saw in the second half, which was a dynamic second half, which was a team that was playing with urgency, with purpose. And that to me was actually very encouraging from this Fulham side because they did not back down. And I think they got some confidence coming out of that first half, even though they were down. They believed in the system that Marco plays. And did they really change much? I don't know if they really did. I just think that they played, like I said, with more urgency and purpose. And you saw that from the get-go in the second half. But what's interesting about this, when you really look at it, Fulham are away on the road. And you would think Newcastle United should be basically controlling all the play, having all the opportunities. And that certainly wasn't the match that we watched. The second half was 90-10 Fulham. It had a lot more to do with Fulham. But even in the first half, Fulham were in the Newcastle United half for a good amount of time. So they were controlling the play. They just did very little with it, which is disappointing. And I thought they got themselves in some good areas. But some defensive issues cost them that goal. And we've seen this time and time again. They cannot play flawless defensively. There is a weakness there. I truly believe that the weak link right now is Anderson as your right center back. And let's be honest, I'm a big Timothy Castagna fan, but he struggled in the first half, and his struggles led to that goal in the first half. I thought he was a little bit better in the second half, but there is a weak link right now, and I really believe it's Anderson. And I was afraid that with Anthony Gordon and Isak that they would target him, and I think that they did. And I think that's part of what we saw in the first half. So what my thoughts on the first half really are that I think that it was disappointing to be down a goal because I thought Fulham did not play great, but they were not outclassed. And I think that's the best way I can put what I watched in the first half. Like I said, there was something that they were building in the first half. They just could not get it done. It was at times what I would call a road to nowhere. They're controlling the play, but it's not going anywhere. And the second half is completely different. But I think what they were able to accomplish in the first half, even though it led nowhere, I think gave them confidence that they could get at this team in the second half, even though they were down a goal. And that's what's interesting. Like I said, I actually see a lot of comparisons here to the Chelsea match. Even the Brentford match, the fact that they can come from behind and score these goals late is a very positive sign. And I didn't know if this Fulham team was about that. And I'm starting to believe that they are. And I just thought they were a bunch of front runners and they couldn't play from behind. Well, they've already proven that wrong. And I'm glad because I think you have to win in different ways. And they found another way to win in this match. Actually, a similar way that they've won a couple times already. So very encouraging stuff from Fulham Football Club. Listen, I've been hard on them lately because I think that they've let two missed opportunities go in the West Ham match and the Manchester United match. But to go to St. James's Park is a big deal to get all 3 points. It really is. But overall, the way that they were playing the first half, I think, led to what we saw in the second half. Unfortunately, we saw some of the negative moments that we've seen throughout the season. And that is what the Jacob Murphy goal is all about, because he was all by himself. Bad defending, bad situation from Timothy Castagna led to all of this. And they give up, I think, a poor goal. And they're down 1-0. And I'm thinking they don't deserve to be down 1-0. But they have not offered enough in the final third to warrant a goal themselves. So this is what happens. We saw this against Manchester United. It's funny because I was speaking to someone that said maybe this match was Manchester United in reverse, that we did enough in the second half and what Manchester United did to Fulham. And I don't see it that way. I actually see Fulham basically putting it all together in the second half and just basically dictating everything to Newcastle United and forcing their will on Newcastle United. That to me is the overall feelings I get from this match, is that they were completely about who they are, and they never wavered, and they kept going. And that to me is what's so encouraging about this performance, not just the victory, the performance itself. So let me go to the second half. And what's interesting about the second half, anyone that's watched this will know this. From the get-go, Fulham come out with more purpose. And that to me is the difference. They were controlling the play from the beginning of the second half, but it was at times a little bit more direct, but it really had to do with being more aggressive than they were in the first half. I think in the first half, it's something that we've talked about a lot is, they're way too patient. While you're down a goal, you can't be patient. You have to play with more authority. And you saw that. And that goal was well deserved because they were working towards it. Jimenez should have scored before that, just missed wide, and again, I believe that was deflected. So they were creating these very good opportunities before they scored the goal. And that will lead to talking about the goal from Jimenez, which the equalizer, again, just a great bit of play for Fulham. I will call it a team goal. And Jimenez just puts it in the back of the net, deflected. I don't care. Fulham deserved that goal at that point, and they gave themselves a platform to win the match. That's what they did. When you were playing with such purpose like that, you're in the ascendancy, and now can you build on it? And that's exactly what we saw. They scored the goal, but it didn't stop there. And I want to give Marco some credit because he made some key substitutions. You had Pereira coming on, Rodrigo Muniz coming on, even Ryan Sessegnon comes on to make an appearance. And I think they all made a difference, especially Pereira and Rodrigo Muniz. But I do want to mention this because I'm sure there'll be Newcastle United supporters that will be complaining about the referee, Kavanaugh, because that they should have gotten a free kick from Anthony Gordon's situation with, I believe it was Andres Pereira. It was Pereira. And I've watched this back, and this is a flat-out dive, okay? It's a dive, but I will tell you that a little bit later, you had Andreas Pereira. I haven't got a good view of it. Maybe he dived to win Fulham a free kick, so I got to be careful with talking about dives. But this totally was a dive by Anthony Gordon. And that was actually the right call. So the play kept moving forward, and then Fulham eventually get the free kick. And I've been very critical of Pereira, extremely critical of Pereira with his free kicks, Tony Golden, myself. But I will tell you, this was a quality set piece from Andreas Pereira, and Rodrigo Muniz sticks his foot out. Just wonderful timing and scores the goal. And again, this is a well-deserved goal from Fulham Football Club. They deserve to go ahead. Now, Newcastle United hit the crossbar, I think, twice. Okay, fine. It's happened to Fulham many times. But overall, over the course of this match, Fulham were the better side. Oh, I'm also going to mention Fulham were the better side both matches, okay? Not just this match, but the one at Craven Cottage. They deserve both victories. So is this about Marco Silva getting the better of Eddie Howe? Maybe there's something to it, but you got to give all the credit to the players here, more than Marco in this match, because yes, Marco puts them in the best position to succeed. He coaches up these players, but they have to execute. So I won't say I'll give all the credit to the players. Obviously, I'll give it some to Marco and his staff because they deserve it as well. But this is a team victory. So it's about everyone. It's not just about the players. It's about everyone. But the players obviously had a lot to do with this victory. And as you can see, I'm pretty excited about this Fulham victory. Okay. Coming up next to end this quick episode of Cottage Talk, I'll share my thoughts on Man of the Match. Okay, very good. All right. So to end this show, I'm going to share my thoughts on man of the match. And I'm just going to share some comments from the Fulham supporters or whoever is commenting. This is Adama played exceptionally well throughout the entire game. He truly stood out as the best player on the field. Interesting. I had someone else tell me that Adama was very good. I can definitely see that. This is from my friend. He says, Bassi, man of the match for me. Okay. So I'm going to go in a different direction than that. I'm actually going to go with central midfield, and I'm going to go with Sasa Lukic as my man of the match. I thought he was excellent. I think Berger was very good as well. My man of the match is going to be Sasa Lukic because he works so hard in the middle of the pitch. And I think without him and Berger, we don't get this victory today. But I'm going to give it to Sasa Lukic. He's my man of the match. Okay. Well, listen, that's going to do it for this quick episode of Cottage Talk. Like I said, this is Cottage Talk full time. I will have a full post-match show on Sunday, and I look forward to bringing that to you. But I had to get something to you now because I'm very excited about this Fulham victory. And that's how I'm going to wrap up this episode. My name's Russ Goldman. Thank you as always for watching and listening to Cottage Talk, part of the Talk Sport Fan Network.